are long, and voiceless consonants are short. You can think of it as it takes longer to turn on the car engine and to rev the motor. That's sort of what's happening when we're vibrating the voice, the vocal cords. Zzz, when we say a th sound, we're vibrating to make that sound. But when we say it's kind of like a hissing sound. Shh. I'm not using my vocal cords. In fact, you could even whisper. If you're whispering, you're not using your vocal cords. So like the p is a whisper, actual p. But the opposite of p is the voice sound b. So we have p and b. Okay, we'll get into this in a minute, but I just want to go through the consonant placement of articulation. We have the T, we have the D, and the N, all produced with the tip of the tongue touching the alveolar ridge, which is just behind the upper teeth, right behind the upper teeth. It's like that, where the roots of the teeth go into the gums. Then we have S and Z. One is voiceless, which is the S, and one is voiced, which is the Z. So words that end in S, actually the vowel is shorter than words that end in Z, but you'll see this in a minute. But S and Z, we have L, which is a voice consonant. We are actually using the voice when we say oh, oh. So you're vibrating the vocal cords. It's a voice sound. R, same thing. R. We're using the vocal cords. And then if we were to sort of produce by raising the front part of the tongue to the palate, we would have a voiceless sh, and the voiced would be j. We would have a voiceless ch. We would have a voice j. We would have a voiceless one as opposed to the other. So voiceless, voiced, voiceless, voiced here. Ch, j, ch, j. Again, I'll do it again. So a word that ends in fish or measure. You hear the voice vibrating on the j sound, measure. So when you have a vowel that precedes a voiced consonant, that vowel will and should be longer, but as opposed to shorter. So voiceless sounds are produced with the vibration of the vocal cords. The air flows like a whisper. When we say sh, when we say s, when we say ha, fa, ch, k, p, t, t, p. Basically, the P, I'll give you a list here in a moment, but the voice sounds are produced with the vocal cords happening. So when you turn the motor to that car, you feel the vibrations, you hear the vibrations, that humming sound that you feel. You could even feel it when you put your tips of your fingers on your Adam's apple when you say it. Zzz. Voice consonant r, like in robe, it ends in a voice consonant b. If you say rope, it ends in a voiceless. Fine, vine, F and V, those are voiceless, voiced. S and Z, also voiceless, voiced. Seal, zeal. So really all vowels are voiced. When you're making an A, E, I, O, U, you're using your vocal cords, ah. But when you're saying consonant sounds, sometimes they're voiceless. But they're also broken down into oral sounds, which are all vowel sounds, like And the nasal sounds M, N, and NG. Ing. Stop sounds are also broken down. The opposite of P is B. So we have P, B. Then we have voice nasal consonant. Then we have T, D. Voiceless, voiced. Then we have Then we have K, G. Then we have NG and Ch, J. So again, I'm going to break these down for you in another chart in another way in a moment, but these are manner of articulation. The stop sounds are with the lips, P, B, M, T, D, N, with the stopping the airflow. Because when you get, again, why are we reviewing this, is because when you get to a long vowel sound, it's pronounced correctly when there's a voiced, which is a long consonant sound. So we have to know the difference between long and short consonants. Affricates, there is a long and a short. Liquids, there's a long, and glides, those are long. So here we have the voiceless sounds, p, t, and k. And then the opposite of those would be the voice sounds, which would be b, d, and g. So if we were to take a word that ends in a voiceless consonant P, like hype, the way you would say that would probably sound correct because it ends with a voiceless. Hype. You have to be careful of the voiced, which would be hide. So whatever the ending is, if it's long, then the vowel must be long. If it's short, the vowel can be short. Okay, nasals, there's just one type. There's M, N, and NG. Then we have the fricative, which is voiceless. F, 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 f. Knife would be pronounced short, that's fine. Fifth would be pronounced short, or nice. But the V ending is long, therefore words that end in V have to be I, long I. Wives, it wouldn't be wives, but wives. Or wise, even though it ends with an S, it ends with an S, but that S should sound like Z, and it would be wise. Wise. And then even some affricate sounds like short ch. But we have voiced w, j. That's the one that should be ya. So if we were to look at the final one, which is voice, which is R, and also L. When it ends in I, it's long. Okay? When it ends in I, it's long. My, try, cry, my, lie, fly. It's ending in, there's nothing there to stop it. Like fight, kite. There's a T sound stopping it, shortening it. There's nothing there to stop it. It's just lingering on. I, why. If there's a voice consonant ending, tribe. Takes longer to turn on that sound. B, g, v, j. Then ride, cry. There's more time for it to sort of stay vibrated. So one is long, one is short. Dine, dice. It's a noun, so therefore it's voiceless. If it were a verb or a plural, like if it were like a verb, like flies. So whenever it ends in a voiced or voiceless sound, oftentimes it's because it's a noun or a verb.